On October 1st, the lives of thousands of our Bahamian brothers and sisters in the Southern Islands were savagely disrupted by Hurricane Joaquin. What is the extent of the damage, and what is now being done to repair their shattered lives? Cable Bahamas presents In Focus, where we examine this country's Operation Full Restoration.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, one web shop owner thanking government for a speedy regularization process of the once underground industry. An anti-crime activist laments the soaring murder rate. A psychologist says Joaquin victims need post-traumatic stress treatment. Plus, a well-known designer promises to help women lose inches with his new slim pants. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. At least one of the 8 gaming house operators that government announced it would grant a license to is embracing what it called a historic and landmark moment in the Bahamas. CEO of A Shore Win, Leander Bryce, said he's thankful for the swift and relatively smooth process.
Well, I like that. So once again, thank the government for doing such a great job and taking the leadership skills and making sure the process gets completed on the timely manner that they said that they were going to hold to, which was the 15th October, and they did a very good job. It's been a long process, from compliance, getting your companies together with your compliance, your board of directors, really setting up a real corporate structure in your organization, something that we haven't done in the past, but now we're doing. And I think we're doing a fabulous job. We put together a A1 RFP portfolio we put forward to the government. My partner, Mr. Newball here, is very instrumental in this business. And we just, so happy and excited to be a part of this record-breaking, history mark process that has been completed.
On Thursday, Minister of Tourism with responsibility for gaming, Obi Wilchcombe, revealed that 8 of the 9 web shop operators that submitted requests for proposals earlier this year would be granted conditional gaming house operator licenses. The companies granted licenses are FML, A Shore Win, Chances Games, Paradise Games, Island Luck, Percy's at the Island Game, Asu Draw and Spin, and Bahama Dreams. Bet Vegas was the sole company that was not granted a conditional license. Bryce said for his company in particular, being a legitimized industry means job opportunities and a bigger injection into the economy.
Well, we're in a competitive business. I wouldn't lay everything out right now, but we're in the process of expanding. We have a few locations already identified in Nassau and through the Family Islands. So we're definitely right away going to increase store ownership, rentals for different persons, new employees, key employees at that factor that we have to now put in place would be supervisors, managers, cashiers, frontline staff, executive staff. Business is just growing worldwide. And now we're here in the Bahamas, and we actually want to take it. The world is next. We start here, and there's no telling where we can take this industry.
A Special Intelligence Investigations and Enforcement Board was created within the Gaming Board to ensure web shop operators comply with international standards during and after the application process to ensure financial responsibility. Bryce said he's certain each web operator took compliance very seriously.
I'm sure the government has hired the best that's out there to regulate the industry. I know for sure, I can tell you for a fact, Shore Win has hired what they think is the best compliance officers, and to help us with the process. And I think that we're going to be one that people can follow as a role model in terms of what we put forward in compliance.
Web shop operators will have to pay annual licensing and monitoring fees of $250,000 per operator, $2,000 for each premise, and $1,000 for each agent. They'll also be levied taxes on earnings. When asked if he believes the taxes seemed fair, Bryce said this.
In my view, taxes are taxes. They're set and you pay them. That's it. You pay to play. Taxes are filed everywhere, the United States, Europe, taxes all over the world. to operate your business, you have to pay taxes. You have to pay your dues.
In other news, with the murder count hitting triple digits, 2015 has already become the third deadliest year in Bahamian history. In the past 10.5 months, well over 100 people were murdered. The spike in violence has one outspoken crime advocate almost at a loss for words. Jasmine Brown has the breakdown in this report.
This year's murder count is only a few shy from the overall record set in 2011. And with more than 2 months remaining in the year, the country could set another record. In fact, murders are up 31% between January 1st and October 15th compared to the same time period last year. There were 91 murders recording this period last year compared to the 119 murders this year. The murder count does not include several matters that have yet to be classified. Successive governments have repeatedly implemented a number of crime-fighting strategies, yet murders have continued to hit triple digits in recent years. Former chairman of the National Advisory Council on Crime that was established under the previous Ingram administration, Simeon Hall, says nothing seems to be working.
We've been talking about this for the last 5 years, and it seemed to go, as Grandma used to say, from wuss to wusser.
Acknowledging that the Bahamas is faced with an extraordinary development regarding murders, Prime Minister Perry Christie said last month that the government will have to answer to the Bahamian public for its record of crime. Since May 2012, when the PLP was elected, more than 430 murders have been recorded in the Bahamas. In 2011, the murder count was 127. In 2012, it was 111. In 2013, it was 120, and in 2014, it was 123. Hall says it's clear the problem is not getting any better despite everyone's efforts.
I sympathize with Minister Nottage and his team because it seems that every time they plug one hole, 3 others come loose.
Hall has even been critical of the work done by the council. In 2010, they presented the government with more than 80 of those crime-fighting suggestions, including the recommendation to implement the ankle monitoring system. This year, he admitted it is one of their biggest failures. Hall says he's not sure what can be done at this point, but he insisted something must be done soon.
I continue to harp on the Ministry of National Security to find one item they could say that will put fear in the hearts of criminals. Most of the fear in the country are in the hearts of good citizens, and that should not be.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And police are searching for the culprit behind a shooting overnight. Reports are that shortly after 2 a.m., 3 men were about to enter their vehicle outside a Claridge Road nightclub when an armed gunman approached and shot one of them. The victim was taken to hospital in a private vehicle, and he's listed in stable condition. And police are also looking for armed robbery suspects. They say sometime after 9 last night, 3 armed men stormed into a Fire Trail Road business and robbed the owner and patrons of cash, jewelry, and cell phones before running away. In a second reported armed robbery, police say shortly before 5 a.m., a man who was walking along Market Street was approached by 2 men who demanded cash. And when he told them he had none, they stabbed him and ran away. That victim is in serious condition in hospital. And in an attempted armed robbery last night, police say just after 2 a.m., 2 men and a woman were standing outside a Dunmore Street restaurant when an armed assailant tried to rob them. Police say during a struggle, the assailant's firearm went off and the victims ran for their lives. Investigations into all those matters continue.